Ladies and gentlemen, this is JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I'm Joe.
I'm Won-Jin.
Today we're gonna cover Netflix Beef, but this one hits very close to home because it's written by a Korean. I think Mr. Lee Sung-woo, and me and Won-Jin, we're both Koreans.
Yes.
And I usually
it's Lee Sung-jin?
Lee Sung-jin, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's Lee Sung-jin. But what's interesting about this show is I was the first one to recommend this to Won-Jin this time. And then Won-Jin held out for a long time, and then he watched it.
And I'm glad that he recommended it.
Yeah. And for some reason, Won-Jin found a lot of korean-ness and himself in the show.
There was so much I could relate to in this show.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, and we titled it Korean and Universal because I think I respect the show's ambition, actually. It's kind of like, it reminded me a lot of Park Chan-wook's movies and stuff, too.
Yeah.
Because it takes a really dark turn.
And also, it gives us a lot of this Fargo vibe.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I want to talk about that, too, maybe in a separate podcast, because we've been saying that a lot. I think audiences today are more used to this dark theme, But I love the actors too. Steven Yeun was wonderful in he was a feature in this Korean director's movie. He was really good at it.
What was it, Minari?
Oh, Minari, exactly. Because let me go first, Won-Jin. I felt like it was Korean in the sense that a lot of Koreans are insecure. Not necessarily in a negative way, but because we live in a very collective society, just like a lot of Asian countries, there is a lot of repressed anger, I guess, from the family dynamics to the societal one. And
also, especially in South Korea, it's what kids need to go through is like hyper competition. It's not just competition, it's like hyper competition.
No, but I think this one was even better in the sense that I think the woman, she represented that a little. The need to succeed and become something more without finding herself, I guess. Because I think the show is dark, but like a lot of Fargo-esque or Coen movies, there is a glimmer of hope at the end. And hey, here's the thing. It's funny as hell.
That's right.
Like when she masturbated to that gun, I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is my kind of show."
And also, I remember. I mean, there are these two parts in the entire series that I really laughed out loud. Like one was when both Amy and Danny yelled at this driver who were honking at them.
Yeah.
When they were having that meetup in front of at the parking lot. And the second one is like when those crows began to communicate with each other.
Hey, don't you think they're like gachi? Like,
oh yeah,
are they crows?
Were they like ravens or crows?
Yeah. No, but that was like a little like a.
I think gachi in English is like magpie, but magpie. I don't think it was like a magpie. I think it was a raven. Yeah.
Yeah, raven. No, because that was funny because in Korean folklore, magpies, even crows, are very smart. So I don't know if the writer intended it, but it was still funny in the fact that it's like an Easter egg because we've seen the woman before masturbating aiming at the gun.
Yeah, and she was really irritated with this bird, and I think she aimed the gun at the bird.
Yeah.
And later, I think one of those the employees of the Chosen Ones, they talk about these crows communicating with each other, and they spread this rumor about what's his name, Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
And then like wherever Dick Cheney goes, these crows like recognize him and blah 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 blah. That was all like foreshadow.
And that's funny though. Like, now you mentioned Fargo. It's funny how like inconsequential things escalate into very very consequential.
That's right. And we see this many times in Coen Brothers Fargo.
Yeah, because their story is really about
choices.
I mean, we can mention Barry. I hope we don't keep doing the similarity things, but we have to mention Barry too, because that one is also about how your choices dictate your outcome. Whether it's good or bad. And this show is definitely about life choices because the whole premise is based on a road rage incident, which happens a lot in Korea, by the way.
All the time. That's why I was able to relate to this whole thing. I mean, there are so many morons on the road.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And the road, I think, I have a theory. I think there's a lot of road rage in the road because once you're in a car, everybody is equal. And, Koreans, and I think Asian society in general, we deal with a lot of power hierarchy that I think Westerners either graduated from or they don't have that view, or they're more personal, I guess.
I mean, or even if there is a hierarchy, it's not as oppressive as the ones we experience.
Maybe, but ours is more like upfront though. Like,
that's true.
Yeah, I know what Won-Jin is trying to say, but ours is more like, how old are you? And then we have this very stratified society, and I do feel like Steven Yeun, the character, first of all, this is one of his best performances in recent years.
Just to mention Steven Yeun, I had never seen his performance prior to watching the show.
Really? Not even Minari?
Not even Minari, and what's that zombie TV show that he was in?
No, I love that one.
The Walking Dead?
Not The Walking Dead, but it was a movie.
I had never seen that. I had no idea. I mean, the only time I saw Steven Yeun was when he was in Conan O'Brien's Conan show.
Okay.
Yeah, that was it. And so I did not exactly have any idea of his performance. And in this series, he was brilliant.
Hey, I agree. I would say his performance sums up in one word. It's resentment.
Good word.
And it's also something that Koreans perceive to think that they have. We call it Han.
Yeah.
Or we feel like we're cheated. And there's a lot of reasons for that we'll not get into today. But the societal thing is part of it. The hierarchy is part of it. And but I also felt like it kind of presented the immigration life too.
Yeah. I think this is a great way of expressing the life of these Korean Americans, especially like the second generation. You'll notice that all their names, like Daniel, Paul, Isaac, those are all Bible names.
And it features a church.
And, like the Korean church thing, that's real. They're very avid Christians.
Hey, and don't you think the show did a good job of like not highlighting that too much? Because it was...
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
I love the way that it was subtle.
Yeah, because one of the reasons why I didn't watch Rich Crazy Asian, the movie, is it?
Was it Crazy Rich Asian?
Yeah, it's because like they put the name Asian on the title. Because I haven't watched the movie, so I'm just prejudging here. Yeah. I'm just telling you the reason why I didn't watch it is because, like, I don't want it to be about that. Like, the best way to handle, I think, race and those issues is not making a point out of it, but just showing, right? But I felt like Beef. Before, near the end, I thought it started telling a lot instead of showing.
Yeah.
I do feel like the ending is like not the best part. It was good. I liked it, but it's not the strength of the show. I think the first 6 episodes were so strong, and then the finale went into this something like something very, very like how do I put it?
To me, it kind of felt like it kind of felt very abstract in a way.
Oh, you think? Because I felt like there was a simple solution to like Amy and Danny saying we're both humans, aren't we? We're not that so different without going into all that fucking mushroom crap. Like I thought I did like the ending though where they hug. I thought that I think the writer, I'm just presuming here, always had that ending. Like after he wrote Middle Way, I'm just gonna show that we are commonly human, right? That's also a Korean thing, right? Like we're saying, aren't we all like 우리가 남이가? Like basically, what's the saying?
It's like, well, how? I mean, we're not any different, are we?
Yeah, yeah. So Korean has that bond, but no. But I guess like Amy is not Korean though. Like I think she's Chinese American, and
George is Japanese American.
No, but I kind of found that funny because I love how 10 years ago, George would have been called a bitch. Not today, of course. But I'm saying, like, George is such a likable guy. In that I love it when, like, the husband... You know, because in the old days he's gonna be called a cuckold and all that. But I like how I think the actor sold it.
The funny thing is, the actor is actually a Korean American.
No, but he plays that really well. Like, I found him to be genuinely kind. He's very gullible, but we don't hate on the guy when he shows up later and shoots fucking daddy. Like, it was such a good one.
Because, I mean, it shows that he was really concerned about Amy.
Even after all that.
Yeah,
right?
even after all that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was upfront about his thing with, what's her name?
Yeah.
The employee at
He didn't
the
even
gallery.
fuck her.
Yeah, that's right.
He mental cheated, and he felt guilty about it. While Amy got choked by young Mizuno, because I saw the name, because I like that actor so much. Yo, let me tell you something. Even more than Steven Yeun, that young Mizuno guy, that's his actor's name.
Paul.
Yeah.
I think his name was Paul.
Yeah, he looks more Korean than any of them. Yeah, that's a Korean face, guys. If you don't know that, he looks fucking Korean. But I like him playing the dumb brother trope. But
another thing I liked about all these characters was that they're all gray, very.
No, but don't. Yeah, I agree. Because one of the most heartbreaking moments for me was when Steven Yeun threw away his college application.
His college application. Yeah, that was.
No, but don't you find a little Korean culture in there too?
Yeah.
I mean, all culture has jealousy and envy,
but I think ours is like extraordinary.
You think so?
We even have like an idiom. What's it called? Your cousin buys the land and you start having stomach aches.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
That's how jealous we are.
Yeah, it's about. I think it's common across very oppressed cultures, just like Irish or us, in the fact that we say, "Who you think you're better than me?" kind of mentality.
And also, if somebody seems to be getting ahead, you gotta pull them down.
Yeah, that's a very poor country thing, I think, because Korea was very poor. We're relatively not the richest yet, but that culture is still here, and I thought him throwing away that college application thing kind of represented that. Yeah. And this show is also really about loneliness, isn't it? It's about, because I found Steven Yeun, his character Danny, to be very sympathetic, because it's like Fargo in the sense that, yeah, you have good intentions, but you also do small evils in between. You know how like Coen Brother movies, like all these great characters, they do small evils, and then it suddenly builds up to this big one.
Yeah,
like out of nowhere, it's seemingly. Even the Fargo, the TV series, like the main protagonists, they all start off with like
good intentions.
Not good intention, but small evils. Remember in season 2 of Fargo, that brother, that youngest brother, all he wanted to do was threaten the judge, but it ends up escalating to a full murder spree. Like that, I think beef is like that. This whole little beef over a road rage incident suddenly becomes this fuck you, who the fuck do you think you are, kind of pissing,
gonna ruin your life,
and fucking your brother, and I don't know though, but I did feel like the ending didn't address everything about it. I don't know if it's me, the modern audience, that seeks a conclusion or too tired of all this ambiguous shit. But
I mean, I thought it was not a great ending, but I don't think it was like a bad ending. But like you said, I think it could have been more.
The emotional punch was, I think, weak. Like in the middle, it was really high drama. It was going, but when that David Cho guy, the actor, I mean, he's an artist in real life. But when the cousin,
no, Isaac.
Yeah,
Isaac.
When Isaac starts talking about the robbing place, I knew what was gonna kind of happen, didn't you? Like I felt like that rich woman.
I knew some Fargo crap was gonna happen. I did not expect Maria Bello to get chopped in half.
Yo, that
was messed up.
Yo, she was still beautiful in her age, by the way.
That's right.
I loved her in History of Violence.
Fuck you, Joey.
Hey, that's one of her best performances. Like, and Vito Morgan's.
That movie was awesome.
Like, that was like acting without dialogue. Like her, like do you remember the ending? Like, Joey sits down hoping they're gonna accept him, and the daughter just casually says, "Oh, Daddy's back," and then she's like, "Fuck you, but I love you." Oh, that was great acting. Oh, but she plays a pompous rich person really well on this one. I love that. Like, hey, I would say this though: the small details in the shows were amazing. I like how he fucks the brother but marries the
her sister-in-law.
Yeah, it turns out she's lesbian or whatever. And then I like she acted so well playing this pompous, like she kind of reminded me of Kate Blanchett, and she plays that role really well too, like this complete like dissociated rich person. Was it Blue something? Like she's really good at that.
I love that movie. I forgot the name.
Yeah, Blue Jasmine.
Blue Jasmine. That's right, Blue Jasmine.
Yeah. Yeah. I sense a lot of that too. Like
but the difference is, in Blue Jasmine, she was like, I think, delusional in a way. But in this case, that her delusion was actually backed by reality.
Yeah, that's true.
And you talked about small details. I love the fact that how her obsession over that freaking chair eventually brought her to death, because she tripped over that chair when one of the assailants threw the chair at her.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the chair that slowed her down, which led to her death.
I mean, this show is full of ironies. Let's say that. But one of my favorite scenes is before the ending. I like the desert like fucking talk.
Oh,
I can't even shoot you. And then they go back and forth and back and forth.
How would I trust you? Because I would have already shot you if I had a freaking gun.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. What the Coen Brothers do well is, just like No Country and Old Men, like seemingly they do like these fish out of water really well. And the transition seems very natural for some reason. But I felt the ending where Isaac just start robbing it, I felt like it was done to conclude this stuff.
I agree. Because in order for that to feel natural, I think we needed less detail in the previous episodes.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because I think there was a lot more detail in the first 6 episodes of Isaac and
I have a simple solution to that. Maybe this series should have been 2 to 3 episodes less and more compact. Because I did feel like there was some middling in episode 7 where I didn't like. Like I guess not everybody will think like me, because they might have enjoyed that side piece about getting into the mind of the character and all that. But I felt like maybe a faster pace would have benefited near the second half of the series.
Yeah.
And because Danny having won over Isaac by putting him in jail, I didn't like that much. Like, I was like, can't. Why is this necessary?
And also, like from going from the kidnapping, I mean, inadvertently kidnapping the girl and then robbing the place. I think that at least for this to work, that they should have at least invested like 10 minutes of what happens in between those things.
And me personally, I wouldn't mind if it went more crazy. Like, I felt bad for
how?
Like, us seeing like Isaac get shot in the head and his head blow up like a watermelon.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if
they showed us Maria Bello getting chopped in half by a sealed door, then why not?
Like, why not make it a crazy? Because that's what Coen Brothers are good at.
Remember that wood chopper?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. There's like I don't know though, but see, like the thing about the Coen Brother movie is it's really rooted on Jewish and Christian like Christianity and Judaism. There's a deep element to that. The reason why I bring that up is I felt like Beef kind of tried to have that with The Crow, but there isn't something rooted from like Asian philosophy.
That's true. Or maybe that actually makes more sense.
You think
because
so?
Because after all, they're Korean Americans. They're not Koreans. So maybe they're actually nowhere.
Oh, so you're saying maybe the desert and the ending scene could represent like Koreans feeling like they don't belong in like American land.
Yeah, I mean not Koreans, but Korean Americans.
Okay, Asians. Though,
yeah, so that would be like an identity crisis.
Okay. No, but then again, maybe we're overthinking a straightforward story about a road rage incident going crazy. You know, because we didn't see any. Did we see racism in this show? I don't remember actually.
I don't think so, because I think it's mostly because we saw Asians interacting with other Asians.
Yeah, because if there was going to be a racism, it could have been like History of Violence, Mrs. History of Violence, like making fun of Amy or something.
Or,
we didn't get any of
not
that.
racism, but I think I felt this like anti-Japanese sentiment in some of these parts of the episodes.
Really?
Because I think there's a part where I think it was Paul, he mentions that Amy's husband is Japanese. There's no reason to mention that. But, as a Korean, that has, like, a special meaning.
Yeah, it's not that the show is anti-Japanese. It kind of shows those characters making a note of it.
I mean, for all, like, non-Koreans, for you to able to understand this, it's like this. So you see an illegally parked car, and it's a Korean car. You'd be okay with it as a Korean. But if it's a Japanese car, and it's driven by a Japanese family, then you would want to report it.
Okay, this is a personal opinion of Won-Jin.
This is my personal opinion. That's how I would feel.
I have no animosity against Japanese. I did when I was 13, because I remember like all the kids at school saying "fuck Japan." Like I think it's part of it is education. Maybe we should have a podcast about this, because like Asian to Asian sentiment, I think is something that's very different for Westerners.
Yeah.
Because we have. We'll talk about it later, but this. Back to your point, it's funny how they make a note of it, though. They didn't elaborate, but the implication was that those guys are Japanese, which means, let's say I'm in a Mexican standoff with Won-Jin, and he's Japanese, then it's 51-49% like chances, but if he wasn't Japanese, it's 49% is going on. But if it's Japanese, it's for some reason it's 51%.
There will be a significant increase. Yeah,
2% increase of I don't know if this guy's a bad guy or not, but he's probably more of a bad guy because he's Japanese. Let me tell you something. Like, Asians are racist to each other as fuck. Hey, but that's, now that we bring that up, it's funny how Amy and Danny don't mention that.
Yeah.
It was like, because Amy is clearly not Korean American, because we get her like flashback and her meeting with the parents. That's Chinese American. Yeah. Or at least like her father is.
Maybe Taiwanese.
Yeah. At least her father is Chinese American. I don't know about the mother. Maybe they're mixed. But the whole household, that's not how a Korean house looks like, even in LA. That's a Chinese American family. But I did like how they addressed that family duty shit together. And
especially that conversation between Amy and her mother. Yeah. That was very interesting. That was like, she already knows, but why bring it up? Because that's such an Asian thing.
It is.
Yeah.
No, but it was also heartbreaking, though, because... you kind of understand why Amy masturbates with guns. And, because for Asian Americans in general, not just Koreans, like, succeeding in America it's like we're doing it at real time how Italian Americans and Irish Americans maybe did it before, 100 years ago. Because, Ireland, Irish people, Irish Americans now, they have a president in John F. Kennedy. Italians are, I know people talk about the mafia a lot, but that's just a cultural phenomenon. Italian life is seeped deeply in America now. Look at all those president candidates. They're part of all the, Eastern.
Also people in power. Hemisphere. Yeah, like I think the Cuomos, the governor of New York. I think
but if you think about it, Asian Americans are not in that position yet. They're not established, and I think this story also works because it's America.
Yeah.
Because in Korea, this beef would be over. You know why? First episode, last 10 minutes, cops come and says, okay, what the fuck is this about? And the cops will take care of everything. Yeah, because in Korea, like, the cops are, they're not like American cops where they have this reputation of gun violence, but in Korea or any Asian country, like, the government is really powerful when it comes to law enforcement. And there's a readiness from citizens who are not allowed to have guns to accept those orders. So if this was a Korean drama, it would be over in like 30 minutes. Cop comes, a very like nonchalant cop saying, "Okay, so who said what? Okay, we'll file this to the report."
And that's it.
Yeah, end the story.
I also found the part where Danny goes to church, and then he kind of finds like this, like he has this brief moment of inner peace. I also thought that was pretty interesting.
You know, though, like I did like how that part I like because the show is telling me he doesn't have to do this, and even Amy could walk away.
Yeah. And he was in a good place, and he was also contemplating whether he should just let everything go. All that beef with Amy.
No, but forgiveness is hard to come by for Koreans. We're not a very forgiving race. I don't know. Hey, I want to apologize though. Me and Won-Jin, we're just talking. We're not trying to generalize. You know, we're just stating our immediate thoughts as Koreans that we feel like is part of the normal Korean, like normal conversation. You know, because Koreans do talk like that and think that like that.
And also, you know, these like small details of Korean life. You know how Isaac tells Paul to call him Isaac Hyung.
Yeah, that was
that's
funny.
such a Korean thing to do.
Hey, that guy David Cho, like he was a great addition to the show. Like he played that piece of shit brother really well.
I actually hope that he would have had more to offer in this show.
Oh, I do agree.
It's a shame that he should have had more screen time.
Yeah, one of the. Like I like how Danny's brother Paul gets a lot of screen time.
Yeah,
because I like this scene with the hotel. Because I felt like that was a foreshadowing of like, you know, this doesn't have to become anything more than what it is.
And that part was also quite interesting because it felt like they were truly bonding.
You know, it's one of the, I think one of the show themes is conflict comes easy, but you know, we're all the same in a way. Yet, you know, our human nature drives us back to conflict.
When all you need to do is talk.
Yeah. Because, you know, Amy's and Danny's, like, because we as an audience know around, like, episode 5, I guess, that their life is not that different. You know, and I don't think their beef comes from a social status thing, too. It comes from something more, like, fundamental.
Yeah, something more primal.
Yeah, family. About duty, because
and frustration.
Sure, because Danny does mention to Paul that like I'm the bigger brother, like not directly, but in a lot of sense, and his failure as a, because you know in Asian culture this is less now, at least in Korea, is like being the primogeniture was very important. Like if you're the firstborn, you know that stuff still exists today.
Yeah, and it showed a lot of those elements in small details. You know how Danny is constantly thinking about his responsibility as the first son to provide his parents with that house and also that responsibility. And another detail that I really liked was what part was it? Hold on, I just lost
your train of thought.
Hold on. I'll come back to it.
Like now that Won-Jin is there, let's give this a number grade. I give this show 8.5 out of 10. 8.5. A B plus.
I would give it an 8.
Oh yeah?
I think it was an 8 for me.
For me, like the story, I love the pacing except the end. I love the themes that it touched on without being moralistic, because the show isn't really that judgmental toward the characters or the audience. It's not really telling us what to do.
It's just showing us.
It's kind of showing us that we do find ourselves a little in Danny and Amy, I think. And I like and you know what I really like? I like how there's no fucking romance. I like that a lot. Because when I saw the poster, I'm like, oh, are they going to fuck? I hope not. And I'm glad it was the younger brother, and they maintained this human-to-human dignity, so to speak, by eating unregistered mushrooms outside the forest. Which is kind of funny, but not amazing, but it was funny.
Oh, I remember the detail that I wanted to talk about. Okay. I mean, I'm Korean. I'm not Korean American. I'm Korean. So I mean, I lived in North America in the 90s. I think you have as well. Yeah. And I remember back then, most of these like Korean Americans, Korean Canadians that I met, were usually second generation, and they were back then still kids. And now in the show, we see these second generation becoming parents, and they've all grown up. And I now see that social divide within the second generation Korean Americans, because I saw we see David and Paul, and when they talk about finding work, they talk about going to Orange County, and I could instantly feel that there was that divide in social status within the Korean American community. That was interesting to see.
That's definitely an immigration story, though. Like, I think, America is about immigration. So I thought they went into that, now that you mention it, I thought they touched on the topic without being moralizing or judgmental. I like that about it, because I think it is a reality for most people. Because, and the funny thing is, like, Asia to America immigration is ongoing. There are Chinese, Korean, and Japanese, like, students going to American colleges and trying to settle down. And I think that story will go on, and this sort of identity issue, and whether how much, because the reality is, if they want to touch on a show that hits home, they should make a show like this about Hispanics. I'm sure they did. It's just not in our purview, I guess. But the Asian side was interesting.
Yeah.
And I love how the show is a question mark, though. Like, even after the hug, though, sure, they might make peace after all those damages, but the show doesn't go on to give us a Disney ending where everyone's happily ever after. It's not. So in that sense, the show was good.
And one more thing, I also enjoyed the music, especially around the end. They picked out some great music for like each episode, especially like the first one when what's his name, Danny peed all over Amy's bathroom and he's running away, and we have that what was the song's name? That was a Hoobastank song. It was by Hoobastank, and I think the lyrics go like, "I'm not a perfect person. I didn't mean to do that to you," and blah blah blah. That was hilarious.
No, but the funny thing about the music choices, the introduction clearly says we're all ugly inside, and like they show these like Francis Bacon-esque paintings where the Pope is screaming, where we're all distorted me. Like it's like I mean, I guess the show is satirical in that sense, where because with the death of Mario Bella's character, it's like it's kind of poking fun at like our decorums and shit. We're like all animals inside, so that was not a bad theme at all. Because Steve Yeun is like I want to let it out.
Oh, and before we finish this off, one question: do you think Naomi timed that door so to kill Mario Bella?
No.
You think it was like a pure accident?
Yeah, it was just pure fear for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just another side of like,
because we had that jealousy element going on.
But the show is. Listen to me. There are almost no redemptive characters. Even George's mother, whose speech I liked in the car about not caring about money. That was a very hippie thing for her to say. Truly an artist or artist wife. Like, most of these characters, you said gray, but they're darkish gray, man. Like, some of them, like the two main characters are gray, and the remaining cast are pretty fucking dark gray. So I felt like that was just the thing to add shock value, because I don't think she deserved to die or anything, though. Like I said, the moment the door crushed her, I was like, okay, kill everybody then. I want to see cops come in. Like, one of the Isaac's friend died, though. He got shot in the windshield.
And he was like, on the wind. I mean, the window.
Yeah. But it was a convenient plot device too. Because I felt like the show was looking for a climax, and they wanted to do justice to the earlier parts. So I guess it kind of escalated, but honestly, I don't know. Like Asians and crime like that. I don't know if it's because we live in Korea. Maybe it's different from Korean Americans in LA, where I have seen news that there are gangs, but that kind of violence is very rare in Asian society. We don't kill you with guns. We kill you with politics and manners, like
or a knife.
Knife is even rare too. But if there is something, it's a knife. It's either that or we kill you with a smile and isolate you. Like, you know how those penguins push each other off the...
Oh.
Yeah. We don't kill you like that. We kill you by group. By group bullying. Because, you know... Okay, maybe I'm going to get in trouble. Thank God we only have 18 subscribers. But for Koreans, like, if... Instead of hearing everybody's a piece of shit, which sometimes we do, we would rather kill one guy. Like... During COVID, we killed that pastor. Remember that piece of shit who started talking like, "No mask, God will protect us." Everyone's like, "Listen, we're not wearing masks too, but that guy he needs to go." And then we have this unofficial law in Korea where if you're an asshole, you will get bullied online. You will be pushed aside society.
You will basically be buried alive.
Yeah. Ostracized like online and society wise. But maybe that's a topic for another day. But that's like robbery is not our thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so I would give this a solid 8. In order for me to give it a better score, I think it needed, like you said, it should have had more surprising, shocking element, and also probably a more polished ending. Yeah.
No, but overall, for it means 8.5. If it was almost a 9 or 10, because if it was just 2 episode shorts. Almost felt like it could have been 2 movies even. But I did like how, I think it's intentional though. I think the writer and creator was very, very ambitious. And I think they also made this in mind of making it an artistic entertainment piece. Because, today we're talking about work, like woke culture or the other spectrum, which is like super conservatism. But I like how I can just watch something purely entertainment wise without moralizing about criticizing something that really happens in life, like satirically.
I would say it was everything that went on was very human.
That's
what I liked about it.
I like that. Aren't we all vulnerable, right? Yeah,
and make stupid petty decisions.
I guess it's modern in the sense that I guess the church appearing just as a fucking robbery, either a robbery or taking your girlfriend away function is funny because there's no mention of God whatsoever. It's just like part of life. Oh, I haven't been to church. Don't give a fuck. It's not a big deal like, those Western movies where the main character always say, God willing, and boom, knock. Asians don't give a fuck. And it's just a community place where we all get along and dash out our jealousies and shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's our take on Beef. I think Won-Jin will agree. We highly recommend this if you haven't watched the show.
It was very entertaining, especially if you're Korean. I think you
Asian American.
Yeah, you would enjoy this very much.
But thank you so much. Next week we'll be back with The Flash or Black Mirror or whichever one we choose. And thank you so much for tuning in. This has been JoeJinMovieSoAwesome. I was Joe.
I was Won-Jin.
We'll see you next week. Bye. Be the lucky subscriber for 19 for a brand new MacBook given by Won-Jin personally. He has just told me privately that he will